Waste management is one of the least recognized public policy issues in St. Lucia. Quite apart from the obvious physical unattractiveness of the business, waste management often competes with more pressing economic and social issues such as fiscal matters, unemployment, education, health, and crime. Even within the domain of environmental sustainability, the management of waste has had to play second fiddle to more apparently manifesting challenges such as land and coastal degradation, biodiversity loss, and climate change. Waste management, however, remains a major challenge for any society since all natural processes generate waste. St. Lucia's particular economic and environmental circumstances make this issue especially critical for medium to long-term sustainable development. In 1989, St. Lucia's population stood at 135,956. There were 2 open dump sites. Waste disposal was managed by the Castries City Council, the Town and Village Councils, and the Ministry of Health. Today, it is the entrance of one of the island's largest resorts, but not too long ago, it was a garbage dump. After prolonged use, the site was closed and the garbage disposal business was moved to Cicero amidst much controversy. The Cicero dump operated for 20 years and, as environmental protocol dictated, in 2003, it was closed, capped, and returned to its natural state. Meanwhile, residents from Dennery South right through to Soufrière used this piece of land with little to no environmental planning to dispose of their waste. The St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority was officially formed in 1996 and was responsible for the collection of solid waste from households and government establishments, example schools, hospitals, prisons, and government offices. In this regard, a minimum waste collection service twice weekly is provided throughout the island. In addition, a monthly bulky waste collection service is provided to every community. All waste collection services are privatized. The authority does not offer collection services to businesses. All business owners are required to contract the services of a licensed waste hauler or transport waste to the disposal facilities themselves.
At the time the authority was established, Vieux was an open dump. And an open dump, the principle of an open dump is that waste is just placed there, dumped. There's no controls for waste. There is windblown litter, there is ponding of water, there is burning, there is uncontrolled scavenging. So you had a lot of issues associated with an open dump. That's the concept of an open dump.
The Vieux landfill was never really designed as a sanitary landfill like the Daigle landfill, so it lacks a leachate pond. It wasn't done at a manner to accommodate the volume of waste that is presently there.
In 1998, approximately 15,000 tons of refuse were deposited at this site. By 2008, the figure increased to 18,422 tons. And all of this rubbish was being deposited without the requisite environmental protection mechanisms.
A typical engineered landfill would have a clay liner or synthetic liner at the bottom before even waste is placed into that landfill. And the reason for that is to protect the environment from the leachate. And what I mean by leachate is that the waste, the liquid generated from solid waste. Okay, this waste is very toxic. It contains all sorts of toxic materials. And if that goes into your groundwater or allowed to go through surface water like a river or a pond, then there is potential contamination.
The typical lifespan of a properly engineered landfill is 20 to 30 years. As of 2019, the Vieux landfill is well past its best before date. The problem is further compounded because the rate of garbage disposal has increased from 18,422 tons in 2008 to 21,590 tons in 2018.
Presently, it's a ticking time bomb. And there is a study done by the International Civil Aviation Organization which states that the landfill is a risk to the airport now. Imagine if we allow it to go on longer. It was stated that the landfill needed to be closed down some 5 years ago. And, well, like they say in St. Lucia, things that are temporary becomes permanent, and it has gone on so far.
Landfill fires occur when waste deposited ignites and spreads. There are two types: surface fires and deep-seated fires.
We have experienced about 3 fires in the last 5 years, one as recently as March 26th of this year. And one of those fires actually cost us in the range of about $200,000 to manage.
It was one of the most challenging fires I've had to deal with. The water was not very effective, so I had to resort to using foam. It was not effective. We had an airport appliance with 3,000 gallons of water. By the time it was exhausted, not one tire was extinguished. So you could imagine the amount of heat that was there. Tire fires are special fires. You have a number of challenges, especially in that dump. First of all, you cannot position your appliance how you want because of the activities in the dump, the way that the dump is managed. We were supposed to evacuate everybody in that path. We were supposed to, because the fumes of a burning tire is very toxic, very toxic.
Landfill fires are especially dangerous as they can emit carbon monoxide, hydrogen sulfide, volatile organics, as well as the production of environmental pollutants like dioxins and furans. The search for a new site commenced over 20 years ago.
From the time the authority was established in 1996, in 1998, we identified a potential site in the south of the island. That's how far back we went. Okay, in 1998, we identified a site at Larry Tret in Vieux to relocate the Vieux landfill. So it has always been on the cards to find an alternative to the existing site.
Closing a landfill is a very involved process. With solid waste management, there's a lot of moving parts. There's the social side, there's the technical side, there's the socio-political side. There's a number of factors you have to take into account, and we're going through all of this right now. We've been working at this. I know my team has been working on it for more than 2 years more now, trying to find a location.
This garbage dump serves as a blessing and a curse, depending on how the wind blows. Its impending closure will undoubtedly and simultaneously benefit and inconvenience residents.
During the dry season, we have lots of flies. Okay, we affected with flies, we have to actually install nettings on our doors and our windows. Okay, that is one area that we affected. You have the stench. If you drive by, you get the stench of the landfill, and it is really posing a threat. You know, it's a health hazard. It has to be out of there. It has to be looked at by the government. Okay, you cannot jeopardize the health and safety of your nation. Okay, for waste disposal.
Well, the reclusion of the landfill, it's good because then they have the hospital there, so they have to take it out from there.
Sometimes we do get a scent smell, but not all the time, and a lot of flies. That if they were to relocate it, it would have been good.
I think it's not good where it is. It's definitely not good because it's too close to everything.
Well, we have had fires. I think that's one of the main things. That's a perennial thing. We have a smoke issue for a few days. Sometimes it's been so bad they've had to close down the schools for an entire week. Sometimes the influx of flies at certain points, you get the flies issue. But the hospital, well, that definitely is in the proximity. Flies. There's definitely a lot of flies at the hospital, and that's a direct link to that landfill being there.
I think that's a very good idea. They're taking it out from where it is there and they're putting it somewhere where the smell and the flies and everything cannot affect anybody around the place.
I have not been affected because if I have garbage where the trucks cannot carry it, it is easy for me to just take a truck, hire a truck and go over there at a cheap price. But if they relocate it, it will be at a cost for us.
A landfill has a limited lifespan. And as we all know, land is limited in St. Lucia. So we can't go on looking for landfills or landfill sites all over the place. So the question now is not new sites, that may be part of the solution, but the question is more of how we treat the garbage or the waste that we get that is being produced from our homes, hospitals, offices, industrial sites and elsewhere. We must think of things like incineration. Can we purchase or build or whatever an incinerator on the island where all these, what I call undesirable wastes can be destroyed, and all you get is the ashes. But we've got to get to a situation where we just don't dump everything in a landfill.
The height of the garbage site is a clear indication of years of disposal, burial, and resurfacing. The St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority, along with the stakeholders, the St. Lucia Hotel and Tourism Association, the Department of Physical Planning, the Environmental Health Department, Invest St. Lucia, the Vieux Town Council, the St. Lucia National Trust, and the National Conservation Authority formed a landfill committee with the aim of finding a suitable alternative to the current site. As of October 1st, 2009, the St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority has halted all garbage disposal activities at this site. A process of covering has commenced where layers of soil will be spread across the surface of the landfill tipping area in an effort to start the decommissioning of the site that will be concluded with a capping. To ensure minimum disruptions to the general public, refuge collection days and times will remain the same from Dennery South through to Soufrière. All household and commercial waste will be trucked to a specialized building on the existing Vieux landfill location. The waste will then be transferred into two 45-foot walk-in floor containers and transported to the Deglo landfill. All measures have been taken to ensure that no waste will be exposed and no residue will drip on our highways. For greater efficiency, these two long haulers will develop a waste delivery routine which ensures that no trash will be left overnight at this temporary transfer facility.
All material that would normally come to the landfill would be received and transported to Deglo at no cost to the businesses or the residents. However, we have special waste considerations which would normally attract a fee for disposal even when the landfill was in operation. And those wastes include confidential documents, condemned foods, disposal of pharmaceuticals, and also, mildly hazardous waste.
In these cases, private arrangements must be made to truck these items directly to the Deglo sanitary landfill. This is the first phase towards a landfill-free St. Lucia by 2030. Phase 2 will commence in February 2020 and involve the introduction of pyrolysis units. Waste deposited at these facilities will be processed daily. There will be no fumes or smoke created from the decomposing process. The only byproduct of the process will be ash, which could be used for potholing and the manufacture of ceramic blocks. These units will be strategically operated closer to the various collection points. From collection to hauling, depositing and transferring, the Solid Waste Management Authority is committed to improving existing standards of public health and environmental quality through more efficient waste management.